And you just listened to a young girl who was saying that the Nigerian community here is totally very angry. It covers all those aspects affecting the various regimes of our people.
Bek was the Ijaw country of the Niger Delta of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He went to several schools. His major academic genesis was at Government College, Ujeli. And
go gather, destroy their food. With the camp and that other camp, some go camp, you don't compensate everybody.
I'm Fatmata Tambajang, Nejalo.
And you come from which country?
I come from the Gambia.
So why is aid not working in Africa?
Aid is
Why are projects like failing?
Projects are failing because of a number of factors. One could be because of the environment, in terms of policy environment. One is in terms of the physical environment. You also have the resources, and particularly government's commitment, political commitment. If the political commitment is not to projects, which is by way of having governments, public funds, finance projects, and then allow the dynamics of projects to embrace international cooperation, it will never be sustainable, because we would be depending on handouts rather than depending on ourselves. So the local ownership is never there, and we know that we are really working within the context of globalization, which is making more and more African countries and the Gambia vulnerable. So the resources are not there. The scarcity of resources is being encountered, and coupled with the fact that you find a lot of corruption in government. You find a lack of accountability and lack of transparency in the way the public affairs are run. People are not consulted. For example, the public expenditure management program in the Gambia is just between the World Bank and government. And this is, of course, not unique. In other African countries also, you find that it's the World Bank that dictates Bretton Woods institutions, international donors. Most of the programs are donor-driven. Hence the need for unsustainability of projects. And you find so much money invested on projects, and they become white elephants. Sometimes you find the projects are duplicated instead of enhancing and looking at why they failed and trying to remedy that. It's a duplication of efforts and wastage of resources. So Africa needs to look, Africa and Gambia in particular needs to look inwardly and see why project fails, and ensure that there is political commitment to make them succeed.
Industrialization is an option, don't you think so?
Yes, industrialization is an option, and that's why I said one of Africa should think about its priorities and define its own priorities. In terms of, for instance, in the local areas, if we have cottage industries, if you build the capacity of farmers, if you give them the incentives to grow, if you provide for them subsidies within a given time frame, you increase their productivity, you promote industrial development, and you find self-reliance. And also that brings me to the idea of developing the infrastructure. The infrastructure is very, very poor. Communications, basic services like education and health is not available in most of the rural areas. In this century, you would have thought that maybe as simple as electricity could be affordable, accessible and affordable, but all the services, basic social services, which are fundamental human rights, they're fundamental human rights. We are the electorate, we put governments there, and therefore they are accountable to us by providing those services that would need to help people to develop not only themselves but also to contribute meaningfully to development.
You're in the UK. What do you miss about Africa?
I miss a lot about Africa. Africa is my continent, and I will never abandon her. I am here to study simply because I want to contribute meaningfully to the development of Africa, and particularly in the area of the poor, I stand to advocate for the poor, not necessarily only the most vulnerable like women and children, but everybody that is poor needs a voice, public voice, needs to be part and parcel of development and needs to own development. So this is why I don't think it's important for me. UK has so many talents and they are developing their country. My responsibility as an African, particularly an African woman, is to go out there in Africa and join the dialogue, the global dialogue, the regional dialogue, the national dialogue. My voice could be a small voice, but it is not, when you add one and one, it makes two. I'm sure there are so many hundreds of thousands of my kind, or even better, who also have that same commitment. And I think together we could contribute to Africa moving from where she is today to a better place.
Would you like to be something bigger than the minister you've been?
Of course, I would like to become someday the president of my country. Not necessarily because of any other thing, but because I am a citizen. I have worked for my country. I have a constituency. I have respect in my country, and the knowledge I'm gaining here is going to add an impetus, be an impetus into my academic knowledge, my academic standing, and I have the commitment of my people to help my people. So I'll be going into politics, not necessarily because I want something to gain, but because I want to contribute to my people. And the assurance I would like to give to my people come the time would be that there would be a tenure of office. I would never want to be a president more than 10 years, 2 terms of office. If my people say 3 years is a term of office, I would be there for 6 years. If they say, even if they say 1 year is a term of office, it's unrealistic, but I'm just giving an example. I would not be there more than 2 terms, because I believe that if you cannot achieve during your 1 term of office, there is no way you can achieve for a 2nd term. And we really need to advocate for democracy, genuine democracy, where starting from the political leadership, you would have a term of office. Then people would be more committed to doing, they would have an agenda, a practical agenda, rather than perpetuating themselves. If you look at Africa today, many of our political leaders come by grace. They come in grace and they live in disgrace. I don't think that is worth it. You need to be a leader, be committed to your people, do what you're supposed to do. You can never finish it. Leave the stage for other people to continue. And I think that I have a chance, because today the world is talking about the empowerment of women. Liberia has done it, and I see no reason why Gambia cannot do it. So with the help of Allah, the Almighty, and with the support of my people, the Gambians, and particularly with the support of African women, and also some people who are gender sensitive, I could become the president and would be one of the most efficient and effective presidents of Africa.
Thank you very much for talking to this program, and I hope that I will be able to see you take over as president, and if not, contribute your ideas, your wonderful ideas, to the development and construction of Africa.
Thank you very much. You would be most welcome. And my prayer is never, ever to be different to the friends I have today. So you would be most welcome. Come the time. God bless you.
Thank you.
It has been Arrey Ivo. In its key generation sometimes. Today our focus will be on the style of J.P. Clark, a poet and writer, and we shall also be very interested in his poem Akbo Dancer.
Some lives are meaningful, some are empty. There are lives that are eventful, with too much meaning and riches to offer humankind. Long after some of these earthly adventures and more, one can still find footprints of these great lives on the pavements of our contemporary lives.
Good evening, you're welcome to the program Green Planet.